Welcome to another episode of the Wildlife Wins podcast, where we share good news about what's happening in the world of animals and wildlife. So today I'm really excited to have Anne Gordon with me. All right, so Anne asked me to share that she is a whale ambassador, Dolphin Energy Healer, and retreat leader for both going on trips with dolphins and whales. I've actually been on a trip with Anne, swimming with wild dolphins off the island of Bimini. So I can speak to Anne's expertise in this area. So welcome, Anne. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Janet. It's an honor and a real pleasure, a joy to be with you today.
All right, well, let's get started because I want you to share what you do, what your organization does in the area of wildlife and the environment.
Yes. Well, I've been, as you know, I've been involved with animals my entire life. I studied biology, animal behavior, worked as a zookeeper, did educational outreach programs with wild animals, trained animals for movies and television for many years. And now I run my whale and dolphin wisdom retreats, where I get to take people like you out to connect on both a physical and a spiritual level with wild dolphins and whales around the world. And there's nothing more amazing, as you know, than having a wild dolphin swim right up and make eye contact, or a whale come right to the boat or right up to us. It's magical.
So in terms of, wildlife wins, do you think of it as your mission to help people connect one-to-one with this wildlife, in their habitat? Like how, what's your experience been? Because you've been doing this now, you've been leading these trips for years. Like how has it changed our relationship with these beings?
Yeah, great question. I've been leading my retreats since 2007, so 18 years now.
Wow.
So I got a few under my belt. And I think the biggest thing, if I could boil down my life's work to one word, it is respect. And I think it's really important that when people come on these retreats, that a lot of things happen. People come because they want to fulfill their bucket list of swimming with dolphins or whales or, whatever, seeing them in person. But there's so much more that happens. And I see it for myself as I'm in a partnership with the dolphins, partnership with the whales, bringing people to them. And I mean, I could talk for hours about this subject, but to boil it down is that it brings people out of their daily stress, right? And most of us, let's face it, we live in our houses that are, made by, man-made materials all around us. We go out into the driveway, into our car, to a parking lot, into another building, right? We don't actually often get out in nature that much in our regular lives. So just getting people out of that routine and being surrounded on the ocean, where oftentimes we don't even have cell signal, so we can get rid of all the social media, all the, the text and all the things, right? And when you're in the presence of a dolphin or a whale, it is impossible to think about anything else but that moment. And I love that the word, we're in that present moment, but it's also present is also a gift. And it's a gift from, we humans tend to live in, oh, I forgot to do this, or I fought with my partner, or I didn't pay the bill, or, all the things are regrets, or I've got this big project due when I get home, or, right, I'll have to have this big conversation, whatever it is. But we come to this clear moment of presence, which is like this giant sigh of relief that I think our soul takes. The busy mind quiets. And that's where joy just bubbles up. And I've watched people just, they burst out laughing, they burst into song, they get silly, they play. and they're just in such joy. It's such a beautiful thing to behold and watch and facilitate. But what it also does is it helps them remember who they are, what's most important to them, their passions, what's really their purpose. And it obviously reconnects them, not just with dolphins and whales, but with nature in itself, the ocean, with the beach, the sun, the sand, the salt water, the air, the fresh air on the ocean, right? It's amazing. And so all of those things are incredibly healing and stress reducing. And so it really is good for the soul, good for the heart, good for the physical body. And so when we come into contact with nature, we remember how important it is.
Mm.
Because we humans, we tend to think of ourselves as separate from nature. We isolate ourselves in this box of a house in our cars, and so we're separate from. But when we're out on a boat or in the ocean, there's no separation. We are back in nature where it's our rightful place is nature. We are animals. Humans are not separate from animals. We're just another species of. And so and then the other thing is when you're with a dolphin or a whale, it's like we humans, we realize we're pretty inept in the ocean. See, and these wild mammals come and they come and honor us with their presence when they could just swim away and be anywhere in the world. They don't have to be with us, but they recognize us. You know this, when a dolphin looks at you, makes eye contact with you. It's like, oh, it's like they're seeing right into you. And it's just this powerful connection.
Yeah.
And you realize that you're not separate from, and that nature welcomes you too.
Wow. Yeah. So you're really helping people find nature and reconnect with nature again. And the dolphins and the whales are just sort of those beings that help reinforce that
Yes.
um, for us. But as you said, when they come by and they looking right at you as they swim with you and they give you your moment, it's really it is something. I will say that it is really something. So I would love for you to share like a success story if you have one, or an experience that you witnessed, that you were part of, maybe someone in your group, or maybe a trip that you went on. Do you have a success story you can share?
Sure, I do. First, I'll start out by saying the very first retreat I ever led was I was living in Panama at the time, and I realized what was happening is just by we weren't even swimming with whales at the time. We're just on a boat watching them, observing dolphins and whales. And I realized that it was just this beautiful, gentle release of emotions, and that didn't really serve, that just needed to get out. And I would see this throughout the retreat with different participants. And it was really beautiful and soft and gentle and easy for them. So then, I kept noticing it. Now I see it every time, and it's really powerful. And so the best, most amazing story that I have to share is that this was on my gray whale retreat in Mexico. And we don't get in the water with the whales, but the whales literally come right up to the boat and they will raise themselves up and they will let us touch them. It's
Wow.
the most amazing thing. Sometimes the mothers will even come there with their little newborn babies and push them up so that we can play with them and interact. It's like there's nothing like it anywhere. And I had a woman come on this retreat. I didn't know her from before, which often happens. People sign up that I've never met before. And she was lovely and pleasant, and she enjoyed the retreat, but she didn't share a lot about her life during the retreat, which is fine until the final day. And we're having our closing circle. And she shared with us that 7 years prior, her husband and the family dog had died in a horrific car accident where the car burst into flames.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly. And they couldn't get out. But to make it even more awful, she was just a few cars behind on the freeway and saw the whole thing.
Oh geez. Okay.
Yeah, I can't even imagine the horror of that. And what she told us that day was that on this retreat was the first time in 7 years that she felt happy again. Amazingly powerful. And
Wow.
yeah,
Sorry, my dog is barking, so it's a little.
it's okay.
Wow.
It's and the greatest part is now she comes on several of my retreats, usually at least one a year. She now travels the world with her friends. She's gotten very active. So she's able to move on despite that horrible pain in her life. And of course, always misses her husband and the dog, but she's able to live again. And that being with the whales helped her. So that was incredible.
Wow, what an amazing story of healing and sort of a gift of almost like rebirth, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was really amazing. And I've had other stories. I've had a woman who now comes every year, and her first retreat with me was in Panama with the whales, and she was doing just a corporate life, standard thing. And she got in touch with her passion and a call that she'd always wanted to write a novel. So she went home after the retreat. She didn't write one. She wrote a whole trilogy for kind of tween girls, 12 to 15-year-old girls. It's won awards, this trilogy. She's loving it. And she just retired from her job and wants to write even more. So being on a retreat, reconnecting you with nature, reconnecting you with yourself, can reawaken dreams and show you that it really is possible to live your dreams. And that's powerful.
Well, and of course, my personal take on it is, it does everybody good to reconnect man with nature, right? Like
Always.
that's always a good thing. All right,
It,
so how can people learn more about you and about your organization?
yeah, it's super simple. You can go to my website at Whale Wisdom Retreats with an S at the end, whalewisdomretreats.com.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being part of the Wildlife Wins podcast. And thank you for being you and doing what you do with the dolphins and whales.
Thank you so much, Janet, for having me. And I love this whole idea of a podcast, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.